Israel. The United States and Hamas have agreed on an interim deal that will see the release of dozens of women and children held hostage Gaza in exchange for a 5-day pause fighting. The evacuation, which could begin within next few days barring last-minute disruptions, could lead to a permanent pause in the conflict in Gaza for first time, according to sources familiar with its provisions. Under the terms of a detailed 6-page agreement, all parties to the conflict will freeze combat operations for at least 5 days and initially 50 or more hostages will be released in smaller groups every 24 hours. It is not yet clear how many of 239 people believed to be in captivity in Gaza will be released. Within the scope of agreement, overhead surveillance will monitor movement on the ground to monitor stalling. The cessation of hostilities is also aimed at ensuring a significant increase in the amount of humanitarian aid, including fuel, entering the besieged region from Egypt. According to Arab and other diplomats, the agreement was drafted during weeks of talks in Doha, Qatar, between Israel, the United States and Hamas, indirectly represented by Qatari mediators. However, until now it remained unclear whether Israel would agree to temporarily halt its attack on Gaza if the conditions were right. A spokesman for the Israeli embassy in Washington said in a statement late Saturday that we will not be commenting on any aspect of the hostage situation. Concerns about captives, 2 of whom Israel said were found dead, and increase in Palestinian civilian casualties have increasingly increased pressure on government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. More than 100 countries called for a complete and immediate ceasefire. While there is strong domestic pressure on Netanyahu to bring hostages home, there are also loud voices in Israel demanding that government not barter on release of hostages. In public statements, Israel did not bow down while acknowledging the pressure it was subjected to. On Friday, Tzachi Hanegbi, head of Israel's National Security Council, told reporters War Cabinet had unanimously agreed a limited ceasefire could only take place after the mass release of our hostages, and it would be limited and short because after ceasefire would continue. In fiery comments on Saturday, Netanyahu said offensive would continue, even as he defended last week's decision to allow first regular transfer of fuel into Gaza since start of war. As Israel continues its offensive on Gaza, it has cut off all but minimal deliveries of food, water, fuel and medicine that the region's 2.3 million people need to survive. Humanitarian aid is essential for continued international support, he said. Netanyahu spoke as thousands of hostage families and their supporters ended a 5-day march from Tel Aviv Jerusalem demand government action. Many people said that the lives of innocent Israelis were worth any short-term deals the government had make ensure their